want to bring in Trump supporter Erin Elmore now to talk more about it. Erin, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it just feels like the news flow continues to support what Donald Trump has been saying all along in terms of terrorism.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these polls, Trump has slipped just a little bit, but I don't think this is telling of what's going to happen in our November election.
Well, the polls, though, do continue to show Hillary leading.
They do, but there are factors that are really important to the American people that we were just discussing, and those are the factors that Trump is doing well on. Also, Hillary is seen as extremely dishonest and corrupt, and that's really not going to bode well for her in November.
So how do you think it shapes up over the next couple of months?
I think it depends on a few things that we have coming up soon. The conventions are going to be huge. Donald Trump is a non-traditional candidate, and we can't rely on precedent here because he's a totally different kind of guy. People are talking about Mitt Romney's numbers back in the day. It doesn't really matter because we have Donald Trump at the helm here. I think who he picks for his vice president is going to really be very important. I think who Hillary chooses as well will be very, very important.
Trump leads among independents. We should point that out.
Of course.
That is, and of course, women go for Hillary, Trump, men go for Trump. But again, that was where you saw some gains there, which is notable. But how does he leverage that? And Anthony and I actually were talking about this in the green room, and I was in Florida over the weekend. And because of the lack of fundraising so far by the Trump campaign, you're seeing a lot of ads on every channel. You're watching
you said that in Miami, right?
In North Florida, even up the beach, you're seeing a lot. At every turn, you're seeing Clinton ads.
Huh.
And it's by her super PACs. It's even some run by her own campaign. But again, they've gotten a jump on basically defining Donald Trump, and that's going to be tough.
That's why he needs more money.
Okay, so what's the definition? Well, I'll be taking a collection from the four of you before I leave. But what's the definition? You're saying they're defining him. How are they defining him?
They're defining him as being shooting from the hip, to be kind, but being erratic.
Okay.
He calls him unfit. That's basically what she's trying to say in her ad.
She said on the campaign trail, but what I'm saying is
temperament.
You're watching all of these different programs on all of these different channels, and you might get one Trump ad for every 10 Hillary Clinton ads.
Right.
So what the thing I think is really interesting, though, is because I've been testing all of the ads, all of the attacks, and what I'm seeing is that these attacks aren't necessarily sticking, because in some ways what people are saying is anything that she can say about Donald Trump, we can say about her. You want to say that he's a fraud, you can say that she's a fraud. You want to say that she's, he's not telling the truth or he's not on the side of the people, then people are like, really, she's fighting for me? And so the thing is, she hasn't defined a strategy that's attacking, that's sticking, unlike him, who doesn't have, he's got 155 ads to 30 ads. Like, it's unbelievable the difference. And really what we're finding is that his attacks are sticking, the liar, the crooked, and that untrustworthy number is really something to watch. Now, we know that Donald Trump's untrustworthy numbers aren't great, but they are better than Hillary's, and I think that is going to be really important.
According to this poll, Erin, 89% of registered voters said that Donald Trump is hot-headed. So these remarks about him keep coming out, and to Dagan's point, he's going to need more money to keep up with some of her ads, even though you say they may not be sticking the way she's intending.
That's right. And also, he's admitted that he hasn't even really started campaigning yet. I think he's trying to get through the convention, and then he's going to go out there and just really start hitting Hillary even harder.
But in terms of the numbers, because we're all about business here.
We're numbers girls.
In June, she spent $12 on advertising for every dollar that he spent. Yeah. And that's a margin you would agree that you guys have got to close.
All right, so
how do you close it, Anthony?
Well, first of all, you're not going to close it, so let's just be honest about that. But I do think he can get enough money together to compete competitively with her. And now this is the debate that Dagan and I were having. We're in the national campaign now. Is it going to be different from the primary? He was very effective with that money in the primary. Okay, he killed 16 candidates with $57 million. That's $3.35 million per candidate. She didn't even kill one candidate yet. She's still fighting him. $103 million later, she's fighting a 74-year-old socialist who declared himself a Democrat 23 months ago. So if you're saying to me that he's not going to have the firepower, I take issue with that, because look at what he just did. Charles Krauthammer said it was the 16 most incredible Republican candidates ever in the field, and blah, 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 blah. and he wiped them off the map.
Yeah.
Okay, including 2 candidates that I supported.
So you don't think he needs to raise $1 billion?
So I would footnote on that one. Someone's going to tweet that at me anyway, so I might as well footnote that one.
It's true.
I don't think he needs to raise that much money. His infrastructure is not bloated like Hillary Clinton's, and he's also a businessman, and he's a numbers guy himself. So I think he's really not. It isn't necessary for him to raise just as much money as she needs.
There's something he's going to try that hasn't been tried before, and that is he is going to seek out a group of people that are non-politicians to help him into the fall campaign.
Yeah.
What she's going to do and what she has been doing is the traditional playbook. So there's a political historian, a scientist, is going to write about this 50 years ago. 50 years from now, did he break the mold, Maria? And my guess is he's breaking the mold.
Absolutely. I agree. He's a non-traditional candidate, and that's his appeal. What people say is he's not establishment. He's something that's totally different. And everything that Hillary does is playing into this narrative that she's establishment and somewhat out of touch with the times.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And secretive and dishonest with the Benghazi report, even with Huma Abedin's deposition that she gave
yesterday,
about, again, she didn't have that email server for convenience, and that is crystal clear because there was problems conducting government business because she had it. Why did she have it? Hey, maybe you should get a government device. No. I am not going to jeopardize my personal information.
Right.
What
and then
the
there's
heck
the
was
meeting.
on it?
And then there's the meeting between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch, which we're going to get to this morning.
Back
We've
and
got to
forth
get to
with
that.
President Clinton, and then he had to come out and say, "I don't use email."
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that does make your untrustworthy numbers go up when you're doing that stuff.
We have a lot to get into this morning because I do want to get back to what you're seeing in terms of your polling late. Erin, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Meanwhile,